Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. The Ratana Sutta. The city of Vesali was afflicted by a famine, causing death, especially to the poor folk. Due to the presence of decaying corpses, the evil spirits began to haunt the city. This was followed by a pestilence. Plagued by these three fears of famine, non-human beings, and pestilence, the citizens sought the help of the Buddha, who was then living at Rajagaha. Followed by the large number of monks, including the Venerable Ananda, his attendant disciple, the Buddha came to the city of Vesali. With the arrival of the Master, there were torrential rains which swept away the petrifying corpses. The atmosphere became purified. The city was clean. Thereupon the Buddha delivered this jewel discourse, Ratana Sutta, to the Venerable Ananda and gave him instructions as to how he should tour the city with the disheveled citizens, reciting the discourse as a mark of protection to the people of Vesali. The Venerable Ananda followed the instructions and sprinkled the sanctified water from the Buddha's own alms bowl. As a consequence, the evil spirits were exorcised. That pestilence subsided. Thereafter, the Venerable Ananda returned with the citizens of Vesali to the public hall where the Buddha and his disciples had assembled awaiting his arrival. There, the Buddha recited the same jewel discourse to the gathering. Whatever beings, non-humans, are assembled here, terrestrial or celestial, may they all have peace of mind, and may they listen attentively to these words. O beings, listen closely. May you all radiate loving kindness to those human beings who, by day and night, bring offerings to you, offer merit to you. Wherefore, protect them with the diligence. Whatever treasure there be either here or in the world beyond, whatever precious jewel there be in the heavenly worlds, there is none comparable with the Tathagata, the perfect one. This precious jewel is in the Buddha. By this asseveration of the truth, may there be happiness. That cessation, that detachment, that deathlessness, Nibbana supreme, the calm and collected Sakya sage, the Buddha had realized. There is not comparable to this Nibbana Dhamma. This precious jewel is the Dharma. By this asseveration of the truth, may there be happiness. 4 ways of describing the Nibbana. The Supreme Buddha extolled a path of purity, the Noble Eightfold Path, calling it the path which unfailingly brings concentration. There is not comparable to this concentration. This precious jewel is the Dharma. By this asseveration of the truth, may there be happiness. The 8 persons extolled by virtuous men constitute 4 pairs. They are the disciples of the Buddha and are worthy of offerings. Gifts given to them yield rich results. This precious jewel is the Sangha. By this asseveration of the truth, may there be happiness. With a steadfast mind and applying themselves well in the dispensation of the Buddha Gautama, free from defilements, they have attained to that which should be attained, arahantship, encountering the deathless. They enjoy the peace of Nibbana freely obtained. This precious jewel is the Sangha. By this asseveration of the truth, may there be happiness. As a post deep planted in the earth stands unshaken by the winds from the 4 quarters, so too I declare is the righteous man who comprehends with wisdom the noble truths. This precious jewel is the Sangha. By this asseveration of the truth, may there be happiness. Those who realize the noble truths well taught by him who is profound in wisdom, the Buddha, even though they may be exceedingly heedless, they will not take an existence in the realm of sense spheres. This precious jewel is the Sangha. By this asseveration of the truth, may there be happiness. With his gaining of insight, he abandons 3 states of mind, namely self-illusion, doubt, and indulgence in meaningless rites and rituals, should there be any. He is also fully free from the 4 states of woe, and therefore incapable of committing the 6 major wrongdoings. This precious jewel is the Sangha. By this asseveration of the truth, may there be happiness. Any evil action he may still do by deed, word, or thought, he is incapable of concealing it, since it has been proclaimed that such concealing is impossible for one who has seen the path of Nibbana. This precious jewel is the Sangha. By this asseveration of the truth, may there be happiness. As the woodland groves, though in the early heat of the summer month, are crowned with blossoming flowers, even so is the sublime Dharma leading to the calm of Nibbana, which is taught by the Buddha for the highest good. This precious jewel is the Buddha. By this asseveration of the truth, may there be happiness. The peerless excellent one, the Buddha, the knower of Nibbana, the giver of Nibbana, the bringer of the noble path, taught the excellent Dharma. This precious jewel is the Buddha. By this asseveration of the truth, may there be happiness. Their past karma is spent, their new karma no more arises. Their mind to future becoming is unattached. Their germ of rebirth consciousness has died. They have no more desire for reliving. Those wise men fade out of existence as the flame of this lamp which had just faded away. This precious jewel is the Sangha. By this asseveration of the truth, may there be happiness. Whatever beings, non-humans, are assembled here, terrestrial or celestial, come, let us salute the Buddha, the Tathagata, the Perfect One, honored by gods and men. May there be happiness. Whatever beings are assembled here, terrestrial or celestial, come, let us salute the Perfect Dhamma, honored by God and man. May there be happiness. Whatever beings are assembled here, terrestrial or celestial, come, let us salute the Perfect Sangha, honored by gods and men. May there be happiness. So, Ratana Sutta, the Jewel Discourse. So we have looked at verse 1 all the way to verse 5. So you know that verse 3 is actually talking about the jewel in the Buddha. And verse 4 and verse 5 is talking about the jewel in the Dhamma. Okay? So we have gone through those two jewels, or those 3 verses talking about the jewels in the Buddha and the jewels in the Dhamma. So let us look at verse 5. No, verse 6. Verse 6. So verse 6, it says, the 8 persons extolled by virtuous men constitute 4 pairs. And they are the disciples of the Buddha and are worthy of offerings. I actually paragraphed the verse so that we could actually study a passage, then another passage in the same verse. So it's easier to actually to study like that. And then gifts given to them yield rich results. The precious jewel is supposed to be in the Sangha. Okay? And then by this asseveration of the truth, may there be happiness, or may there be safety, security, and peace. And there is actually another commentary using another word to actually represent safety, security, peace, or happiness. They use well-being. Well-being, I think, is actually a very good translation also. It actually encompasses safety, security, happiness, and peace. So well-being also could be used, but not just happiness. May there be a well-being. So So this verse is actually talking, this whole verse is talking about the Sangha, or the jewel in the Sangha. And when we take refuge in the Buddha, we take refuge in the Dharma, we take refuge in the Sangha. We literally not just take refuge in the Buddha, in the Dharma, in the Sangha. We actually are taking refuge in the jewel of the Buddha, in the jewel of the Dharma, in the jewel of the Sangha. So this one is talking about really the jewel in the Sangha. And Sangha, the word Sangha means, as I always say, in the West, they have actually used this term to represent any community of practitioners who come together to study the teachings of the Buddha, or to practice meditation. And a lot of times they are actually householder, laymen, and they call themselves Sangha. According to the original teachings, or according to the original definitions of Sangha, actually Sangha only means monastic community. So maybe you should find another word to actually represent the householder. So so Sangha, actually there is, there is, why it is called Sangha? Because it is a community of Aryan. Remember the word Aryan? What does it mean? Anybody on the screen? From the screen, Aryan, Aryan. Anybody put up their hand? Aryan. Nobody. Really? Nobody? Somebody here.
It means like selected, doesn't it?
No, wrong. Paul said that is selected. Nope, wrong. Noble, yes. Aryan means noble. Remember the Eightfold Noble Path? That is an Aryan path. Yeah? So Sangha means Aryan, a community of Aryan people. Aryan, not just Aryan people, it's Aryan, like noble people. So in here, it says the 8 persons extolled by virtuous men. Remember, this men actually, there is no gender. Okay? No gender here. It's just a group of people. Or you can say virtuous people. Okay? Constitute 4 pairs. So there are 8 persons or eight classes of people. So there are 4 pairs. That means 4 grades of noble disciples. So, and we call these 4 pairs as Aryans. So, anybody knows which are the 4 pairs? Laurie's hand, okay. Let's see what she has to say.
I'm guessing a stream enterer, maybe?
Mainly?
Maybe.
Maybe? Okay. What?
A once returner.
Okay, once returner. Then?
An air hunt.
That, okay.
That's all I got.
You've got only 3.
Stream enterer.
Yeah?
Once returner. Non-returner.
Oh, okay. Great. Yeah, that's 4. Yeah. Stream enterer, once returner, non-returner, and arahant. The 4 pairs. But 4 pairs. You didn't get that part. Of course you don't get that part. Otherwise I don't need to teach. Right? I don't need to teach. If you get that part, then I can disappear. Okay. So let us look at the 4 pairs individually, okay? So the 8 persons extolled by virtuous people or virtuous men constitute 4 pairs. First pair is the stream enterer. We call it Sotapanna. Okay, Sotapanna. So what's the Sotapanna? What is meant by Sotapanna? A stream enterer, right? As the Lord has just said. So why would he be a stream enterer? Why would he be called? What kind of qualities or what kind of defilements or what kind of fetters that he has eradicated in order to become a Sotapanna? Anybody? Anybody? Okay, nobody. Then I have to tell you. Okay, so Sotapanna. Anybody who attains this state have eradicated 3 fetters. The first is the self-view, or identity, that, oh, I am so and so. Okay, self-view. And the fetter of doubt about the teachings of the Buddha. So totally eradicate that one. And then the fetter of attachment to rites and rituals and observances. So if there is any, okay? So then you will say, oh, wow, Sifu, then if I pay respect to the Buddha, if I do prostration, is that an attachment? Is that an attachment? Doesn't it like belongs to an attachment to rites and rituals? If we pay attention, if we pay prostrations to the Buddha, and if we chant, and if we burn incense, and those are rites and rituals, right? Those are rites and rituals. So then does it mean that we will never be able to enter a stream enterer if we pay respect to the Buddha, doing prostrations or reading? Yes, Ma?
If we're offering without asking, really, without desiring anything in return to ourselves.
Yes. Yes. Not expecting a return, not desiring that I pay respect, I'm getting help from you, or getting merits from you. And I pay respect, I pay prostrations, I do prostration as the intention behind doing prostration is we respect our teacher, and also to be humble, right? And for offering is we want to develop this parameter of generosity, of dana, and also as a way to show our respect to offer. Yeah, it's good. Thank you. So the factor of identity, we just said just now that there is this me, and I will, and there is a permanent me in here, which is impossible, right? So that is this stream enterer, and so a stream enterer, how many lives or how many times has a stream enterer has to come back in order to go further? 7. Thank you, Lo. Okay, 7 lives, 7 or less. Okay, 7 the most. Come back to earth before they complete the realization, complete attainment of realization. But when stream enterer actually achieves that state of a stream entering or sotapanna state, when they return next life, they will not be reborn in any realm in the lower realm. The lowest realm is the human realm. They either reborn in a human realm or in the celestial realm. They will never be reborn in the three lower realms as a stream enterer. So among human beings, there could be stream enterer everywhere, sotapanna, okay? So that's why we need to respect everybody. We need to respect everybody else because you never know. Yes?
Will they still be able to practice in a higher realm?
Yes. Yes.
They will still have
yes.
physical existence?
No physical existence, but still they can still practice as a stream enterer only, but not just ordinary celestial being. Okay, so it's different. So then the once returner, Sakadagami. So once returner, that means there are two fetters that they have already broken before, the fetter of greed and the fetter of hatred and ignorance. So that means the sensual desires have been broken, but yet in the state of one's returner, Sakadagami, is further broken. Okay, it's further being removed or eradicated. So that then the Sakadagami, they will what? As the name implies, it will return once more time, once more. Okay, and then it will attain that state, and then will go further. So non-returner, Anagami. Anagami is free from all desires, not like Sotapanna, not like Sakadagami. Anagami is completely free from all desires, greed, and hatred. And Anagami doesn't come back to this world. It goes into a heaven which is called a pure abode. In there, they will practice until they reach that final goal and finish this Anagami, this one non-returner state, and then further go on to Arahat state. Okay, so it abolishes all the sensual desire, although it will no longer has any ties to this sensual world. But stream enterer and once returner, the Sotapanna and Sakadagami, they still have ties to this sensual world. Okay. It's not easy, eh? So, then this Arahat. Arahat is completely free from all the fetters, the five lower fetters and the five higher fetters. So, and then the Arahat, they have no more unwholesome seeds, not wholesome seeds. They have no more unwholesome seeds. And no more defilement, no more craving, no more attachment, no more ignorance, no more anger. Because there is no more ignorance, therefore, Arahat will not have any more new multiplication of ignorance, not like the other three states. Okay, so why would he say if 4 pairs? These are the 4 states of attainment. Then 4 pairs, that means there is another pair next to it, right? So, because why? there are two phases. One phase is the practice towards this state of enlightenment, or towards this state of attainment or achievement. And then there is this state of fruition. Okay? Somebody is practicing on the path towards a stream entering, and then somebody has attained the stream entering. So that makes 4 pairs. Understand? Okay, good. So path of stream and stream entering or stream winning is called Sottapatti Magga. Magga, that means the path. So somebody is walking on this path towards the Sotapanna, attainment of Sotapanna. Then somebody has attained Sotapanna. Okay? The fruition of the stream entering or stream winning. So Sotapatti Pala. Pala, that means attainment. The fruition, like fruits. So that is the first pair. All right? Walking on the path of stream entering and attainment of fruition of stream entering. So that's the first pair. And then the second pair is the path of one's return, Sakadagami Magga, the path of going to become a Sakadagami, a one's returner. And then the second one is the fruition. That means it has reached the goal of attainment to this Sakadagami. Okay? And then the fifth one is the path of non-return, Anagami. The path, Anagami Magga, that means the path of achieving Anagami state. And then there will be the fruition of Anagami, Anagami Pala. Okay, so that's the third pair. And the fourth pair is the path of Arahatship, Arahata Magga, the path walk towards the attainment of Arahatship. And then the fruition of Arahatship, Arahata Pala. Okay, so these are the 4 pairs. But knowing, remember, and bear in mind, this is very important. A person who is on the Sottapatti Magga, a person who is on this path, is different from a person who has actually reached Sottapatti Pala. The mindset of that person. But it's the same person. Isn't it? You look doubtful.
Could you repeat that?
Okay. I don't know whether I can exactly repeat what I said. Okay. So the person who is walking on this path towards attainment of any of these states, that person is walking on that path. And the mind of that person is very different from the mind of that person who has reached any of this state.
I understand.
Understand now? Everybody understands? Versha. You understand, Versha? Say that. Can hear. You unmute her.
I'm wondering if
You,
I just wanted to ask a clarifying question. I'm wondering if it's a continuum, so it's the same person but on a different part of the continuum.
of course, it's a continuum. If it is not a continuum, he will never attain that state. Let us use a mundane example. Somebody is running a marathon. Somebody is running a marathon. It's just like a marathon. But we don't know how many eons of lives, right? So somebody is running a marathon, is running, marathoner on a marathon of like how many kilometers? I don't know, 41.32, somebody told me yesterday. Okay. And eventually, he has reached that goal. He has reached the end of this long journey, and he has achieved. The mentality of a marathon runner who is on the path is very different than the mentality of that person who has reached that goal. Isn't it? You understand now, Versha?
Catherine also raised her hand.
Who's Catherine? Catherine Chen? From San Francisco? Okay. Yes, Catherine?
Hi, Sifu. So actually the difference between the path and
the fruition.
Yeah, is that it's like being a bodhisattva. If I make a vow to become a bodhisattva, and then on the process, and eventually I attain it.
You become a bodhisattva. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So that's why they have set the path and also the fruit.
Exactly. Okay. So the mind movement of the path is not the same as the mind movement of attainment. Okay? So he is the same individual, but with very different mind movements. Right? So that applies the same to all state, all these for attainment, okay? So the 8 persons extolled by virtuous men constitute 4 pairs. So we have studied that. And it says, they are the disciples of the Buddha and are worthy of offerings. It means these among all orders or congregations. The order of the Tathagatas, or the orders of the Buddha's disciples, is the most excellent. It's the most excellent. That means these 4 pairs of noble disciples are the excellence among the excellence. Right? We could call ourselves excellent disciples of the Buddha too, because we have chosen to walk on the path that he has taught. No? Come on. Yes. Keep doing it, keep working it. But these 4 pairs are the excellence among the excellence. Okay. So, and then in why would we want to call ourselves also excellent people? Because the Buddha, the Dharma that he has taught, there's nothing can surpass his Dharma. There's no other teachings in this whole universe, in the past, in the present, or in the future, which can surpass the teachings of the Buddha. Because why? Why? It's the truth. What thing can surpass the truth? Nothing. Right? It's the highest truth. And nothing can surpass the highest truth. So this is the excellent, the most excellent. And he said, these disciples are worthy of offerings. Okay? And the gifts given to them actually yield rich results. So gifts given to them yield rich results. That means what? That means offerings to these disciples will give you really rich results. And the idea in the Nikaya, actually, the Buddha has given a very simple teaching about gifts given to these people, rich results, and how would it give or yield, bring about rich results. And in that sutta, I forgot what is the name, but I remember the story. There are three conditions. There are three conditions for one who offers, and also three conditions for the one who accepts the offering. And in order to be really giving rich results, and the giver or the donor who gives results should before giving is very happy, is very joyful to give, and during the giving, this donor or this giver is filled with so much happiness to give. And after giving, and this giver is very, very happy that he is able to give. You see, before giving, during giving, and after giving, is happiness within this giver. Okay? So you can see how auspicious it is to be able to give. Before, during, and after. So happiness doesn't go away. Happiness is there all the time. And what about the recipient? That means the one who is being offered to. And he said, all because the receiver doesn't have any more craving, or they are still practicing on this path in order to eradicate the craving. That's the first condition. And the second is the recipient doesn't have any more anger or hatred or ill will or animosity, or this recipient is still practicing on this path of eradicating all this anger, ill will, animosity. And the third one is the recipient doesn't have any more delusion, ignorance, or are still practicing on this path to eradicate the delusion and ignorance. So these are the three conditions for the giver, for the donor, and for the recipient. And the Buddha said, because the givers have these three conditions or causes or states of mind, and the recipients also have the similar three, and they, both of these parties are filled with what? Happiness and joy. So, and the Buddha said, when something like this happens, the results is anything is incomparable to these results. And even, he said, even the ocean actually has big body of water. It could be 1,000 pails, it could be 10,000 pails, it could be 1,000,000 pails of water in one ocean. But still, even with this such big body of water in big oceans, those results are incomparable to the results that were performed by offering to these wonderful disciples. Okay? All right? So the Buddha said to the bhikkhus is that it is very easy to assess the merits basing on these 6 kinds of offerings. Okay? So, I mean, the offerings based with these 6 conditions. There is so much goodness in this kind of offering. It can bring heavenly joy and happiness. And this is a big merit. And this is a very infinite merits. So, we can look at it like, okay, so if I offer to these wholesome disciples, or to these people who are walking on this path of eradicating greed, eradicating animosity, eradicating delusion, are we able to actually identify, or are we able to know the achievements of these recipients? Are we? You know what question I'm asking? Are we able to control these achievements of these wholesome people, or of these Aryans? No. We can't. Because their achievement is out of the control of the donors, right? And the donors, he can only achieve whatever he can, and the recipient will only achieve whatever he is practicing. And the donor cannot control. There's no control of the achievements of the recipients. But we have the control of our own offering when we offer. We have our own control. When we offer, make sure that we check ourselves. Before we offer, are we happy that I'm going to give so much money? Or I'm going to bring so much food to the Sangha? Oh no, I'm not going to bring this banana. No, I'm going to save it for myself. then you have to think twice. Okay, then during giving, you say, oh, we brought so much, all these. Oh, then you look at the Sangha members to take away all those offerings. You say, wow, so nice that they accept our offering. Or you say, oh, they are taking away everything. Are they not going to leave us something? Or after you have offered, oh, I wish I haven't brought so much to them. I wish I have saved something for myself. Then that is not like a selfless, according to those 3 conditions. Before, during, and after, you have to be joyful and happy and willing. Okay, so when we give, remember, when we give total with wholeheartedness. Wholeheartedness. Why? Because we know it. Because the Buddha told us, if we give wholeheartedness and if we give with joyfulness, we know we are giving to people who are worthy of receiving these offerings. And we are very happy to support. We are very happy that they take our offerings. Because we know by this wonderful, wholesome act, we are planting a good seed of generosity. And this, when it reaches perfection, we will have less possibility to be reborn in a place without Dharma. Right? So we don't want to be reborn in a place without Dharma, don't we? Do we? We don't, right? So that this one is actually tells us this is one good way to actually cultivate. And he said, this precious jewel is in the Sangha. What precious jewel is in the Sangha? precious jewels is in the Sangha? Anybody? I just finished 50 minutes. What precious jewel is in the Sangha?
Generosity.
Generosity, okay.
I think Ivy was trying to say something.
Ivy? Who?
I think so.
Ivy? Okay. Dharma. Dharma in the Sangha. Okay. Who else? Who is the precious jewel in the Sangha? What is the precious jewel in the Sangha?
Oh, Nora.
Nora, okay.
The monastics, the
Oh.
people who are practicing.
Okay. The people who are practicing. The qualities. What qualities? Virtuous quality, yes. The virtuous quality, virtuous men. The virtues in these people, in these Aryans, is the jewel of Sangha. Okay? So, what are the virtues in the four pairs? Able to remove the three fetters, right? Identity, ignorance, and doubt. And for the second one is what? Removing the sensual desires, the animosity, and so on, right? Those are the virtues. Those are the virtues of these Aryans. All right? So the Buddha said, by this asseveration of the truth, by knowing this truth and by directing the mind towards this truth, may there be happiness, may there be safety, may there be security, may there be peace, or may there be well-being. So reciting these verses, the Buddha said, you draw upon the spiritual power of these virtuous people. Why? Into your mind. So what our mind becomes the channel which draws all these blessings from these spiritual people, from the Sangha. And because of that, we are able to what? To bring safety, security, peace, happiness, and well-being to our own selves. One verse. Okay? So any more questions about this verse? Whew. Anybody want to say anything? I'm not going to start on next verse because it takes an hour to go through one verse. Oh, Yijin? Yes?
Sifu, can you go back to the one of the slides that you show four pairs, the path and the fruits?
Sure. Okay, just a minute. Here. This one?
Yeah. So let's say that a person is born and he's already on the path of one's return, and then he practiced and he achieved the fruits of one's return.
Yep.
Does that mean that he has to die and reborn to start the path of non-return?
Not necessarily.
So he can continue 4 to 5 right away.
Yeah, of course. If there's the time is not, I mean, he doesn't need to die in order to actually go further on the next path.
Oh, okay. Because I say one return, so they return once.
No, return once. That means he has to that means in order to attain the fruit of anagami or the fruit of sakadagami, there is one more life that he has to actually fulfill. So, in that life, if he lives 60 years old, and then he's only 30, and he actually attained that once return already in that life, that means the rest of his life, he can still go on further practicing. Maybe he probably won't actually, he might actually attain that non-return in the rest of that life, then he will never come back again. Okay? So on this, I can't remember. I think in the future verses, I will talk about this again. So for the stream entering, there's 7 lives that's up to 7 lives, not always 7 lives, remember. So it's between 2 to 6. But 7th life, he will attain Sotapanna. But not necessarily 7th life. It can be, there is no 8th something here. There is no 8th. There is no 8th existence. Something in here. Either on verse 8 or 9, can't remember which one. There is no, number 9, verse number 9. They will not take an 8th existence. Okay, that's Sotapanna. Sotapanna, the most is 7 lives. But it can happen on the second life, it can happen on the 3rd, it can happen on the 4th or 5th or 6th. But 7th.
Does that verse relate to this, the verse that says 7 lives or 7 weeks or 7 hours?
Yes.
Or 7?
Yes.
So
yes.
It depends on the intent of the practice.
It depends on the extent of their achievement. Yes. It can happen in 7 weeks. It can happen in 7 days.
I think it was under 7 minutes.
Yeah, something like that. 7 minutes, I didn't know. 7 weeks, 7 days, 7 weeks.
Days.
Yeah, 7 days, 7 weeks. Okay? So these are the 4 pairs of people that we should look up to and take them as our example. And, hopefully one day we will reach that state. Okay? So, any more questions? Or any more sharing? Where did we finish? We finished here, right? Phong Keng. Yeah, Phong Keng. Yes.
May I ask, how is this path of attaining arahantship?
Yep.
Because it seems there's a bit of contradiction with the vow of
Bodhisattva.
Bodhisattva, Bodhisattva.
Yeah.
The vow of Bodhisattva is saying we will return to this essential world until all beings are liberated. So I'm thinking, so how are these 2 paths going to be connected, or?
They are definitely connected. They are definitely connected. Bear in mind, the Buddha has been Bodhisattva for many, many lives. Right? Has been Bodhisattva for many, many lives. He threw himself into the cave to feed the hungry lions, hungry tiger. Right? Bodhisattva. But also, the Buddha attained arahantship. Okay? And after he attained arahantship, he pursued he pursued on further on to actually to attain this Buddhahood. So there is no contradiction between a bodhisattva and an arahant. An arahant, people always think that an arahant is a selfish practitioner because they are only seeking their own enlightenments. But we look at the Buddha. How can Buddha be such a selfish person? If he is such a selfish person, he will not be throwing his whole body into to feed the hungry tiger. And in order to actually become a Buddha, one has to go through these stages of enlightenment. So there is no contradiction. As an arahant can also be a bodhisattva. And a bodhisattva has to attain these stages in order to become a totally liberating bodhisattva. Okay?
So these are the stages we have to achieve before we move further.
We have to achieve these stages. Otherwise, we'll remain as human being all the time, or even the lower three realms. There's a risk of falling into the lower three realms if we do not pursue on these paths.
That means, well, we can't jump to the path of Bodhisattva before until we have achieved this path.
No, you can actually practice. You can have a vow to practice, to help, to assist, but it doesn't mean that you are a bodhisattva yet. You are on the path of generating generosity. You are on the path of generating compassion. And that is a bodhisattva path. And that is also a path for these attainments too. Right? If they do not actually practice generosity, if they do not practice compassion, they will never reach that state of arahantship. Okay? Yes?
That goes to the same ultimate goal. May I say so?
We don't have, you know what? We don't have to actually identify them as two separate paths. We don't have to. And if you identify them as two separate paths, you actually fall into that identity, that view of identity. And that could become a hindrance, an obstacle, rather than a force for you to actually put forward. Okay?
Through everyone's different karma and living eons of lives, everyone's path is different.
Of course.
The degree of practice required and experience for each stage is probably incomprehensible.
Oh, yeah, we
So
can.
To try and put it in order or whatever,
Yeah,
this is probably the best example that we can understand
exactly. About the path.
of being explained to us to be able to comprehend
Yeah,
a portion of what we have.
yeah. Don't intellectualize it. Do not intellectualize all these. Just knowing this is a different state of achievement of the Aryan's disciples. But don't intellectualize it. Because once you start to intellectualize all these things, it becomes such an obstacle. And it becomes such a concept. And you constantly think that, oh, I need to go forward, I need to go like this, and then I will reach this. No. No.
You'll be going backwards.
You're going backwards. Okay, we dedicate our merits. May these blessings extend to all, that we with all the other living beings together will attain the Buddha way. May we wish more and more people will encounter the wise words of the Buddha, study them, understand them, practice them, and help themselves to liberate themselves from all the entanglements, from all the fetters, and be truly safe, secure, happy, and peaceful.